Welcome back to the Hero Gauntlet. Our first matchup is going to be the curious, the large, the small, the hero of Wonderland, Alice, versus the helpful, the keen, the surviving Little Red Riding Hood. Alice's deck here. So looking at this one, Alice has the ability to go big or small. Big enhancing her attacks, small enhancing her defenses. And as you can see, she has a lot of abilities to boost up those attacks, as well as be able to get out of dodge from big damage. So now let's look at Little Red's deck. Little Red is all about the top card for discard pile, and that gives her awesome effects that she can utilize on the battlefield. She has the stones in the belly, the huntsman who's there to take care of things from a long range. She's got a lot in her kit. Now looking at the fact that she has not done any fights yet, let's see how she does in her first match. Alright, here we are on Memorial, the home map of Alice. I get to go first, so I'm kind of figuring out where I'm going to be placing the Jabberwock on the map here. And I get to choose between big and small. Small is typically kind of the best pick if you're going first, especially if you can't get to the opponent on your first turn. Because of the fact that you are going to be more susceptible to attacks when you are big, so you are going to be easier to hit. So I'm just kind of factoring in right now just where I want to put the Jabberwock. She puts the Huntsman all the way on the far side. Really useful to try to gain control of that whole middle part of the map itself in the gardens. It looks like it's my turn. I have a few schemes in my hand. I'm kind of figuring out what I want to do here with this information, with these things in hand. Let's see here. I think I'm kind of contemplating if I want to boost my maneuver to go right after him for a first attack. I have the claws that catch, and it is very tempting for me to just go right after Little Red right now. But I'm also trying to see if I should just, fill up my hand and see if I can maybe survive an attack from her and see where things go on from here. Now, this is where I kind of misjudged a lot of things. I didn't realize Into the Woods was right there, which would allow Little Red to just move 3 spaces for free and be able to gain that action. So she's going to be able to attack me twice. I go with a nice 3-value feint against, what's in my basket. So, really useful to block a lot of that damage from the attack. But sadly, was not able to cancel any effects on the card themselves. Meanwhile, Little Red is going to attack me again because she has that additional action. I have to kind of figure out what I want to do. I think I go for this 2-value regroup just because at least I'll be able to get another card in my hand. And I end up taking 2 more damage with another What's That in my basket. So she's used 2 copies of that already. And those are really useful because they're like wild cards for her basket to kind of give her any effect that she wants to trigger. So at the start of my next turn here, I kind of get to draw a card. I'm kind of figuring out where I want to put Alice. I decided to have the Jabberwock take their turn at her because I have those Claws That Catch cards and it just kind of makes sense. So I use Claws That Catch against Little Red right here. They use What's That in my basket again. So now we have 3 of those cards coming out and I deal a damage over that. But still, 3 of those cards coming out right out the gate that actually might help me in the long run because those are kind of her biggest defense cards that she has besides the possible stones in her belly. So she kind of maneuvers away, kind of refilling her hand. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I got all these schemes in my hand. I decided to use one. I decided to use Drink Me because Drink Me is like a card where if I already have a full hand, it's not going to have any use for me. So I decided to discard that, put that down, keep Alice somewhat, located, not too far away from the Jabberwock. And then the Jabberwock's going to go at her with another Claws That Catch. Now she's going to use Stones in the Belly. The ability is going to trigger because she has that wild card. She's able to get 3 boost off of that to make it a 5 versus 5. So she blocks 5 damage. Huge value out of that card. And that is pretty much going to help her win this fight here. So going into this, Alice, seeing seeing my options here, I'm only 2 spaces away from Little Red on both sides. I'm trying to pin her at this point with the Jabberwock and Alice, trying to keep her from doing that. But then I end up moving down. I don't know why I do this. I think this is just one of the big misplays I had. I had the ability to just literally pin her up there, but I gave her a way out. I go with the Jaws That Bite, and the thing is that they use their lovely what eyes you have. So the thing is that they are able to get away from that attack by utilizing the effect to ignore the attack value. Crazy. She's able to maneuver twice to get out of dodge. I really think that was probably one of the biggest misplays I made, because she was able to get out of the pin. I wasn't kind of able to force her to attack me. I could have survived with the skirmish there and the feint. I don't know. Those are just some things you gotta think about as you play throughout the game. I try to get Jabberwock closer along the wall there as I keep Alice at least moderately far away. I'm trying to avoid also getting attacked by the Huntsman, because I know he's ranged, and it's just very, kind of scary at this point. She ends up using across the path, so she's able to use that to deal 2 damage to the Jabberwock, at least to weaken them at that point in time, using a scheme. And we can see here I have Eat Me, which will allow me to move 3 spaces, but I'm not going to be able to attack anybody after I do that. So I decided to hold off on that. And I'm trying to think of like a way to get the Jabberwock up there, because they're going to be kind of my main bruiser. So I have I'm late. I decide to discard that because I got multiple copies of it. And I utilize that nice boost value to get the Jabberwock right up there. And I'm kind of factoring in what I want to attack with. I decide Manxome Foe might give me something, relatively decent. Especially I still have some 4 value boost cards in there. But I attack and I get another Stones in the Belly. This is kind of crazy. In which they do take 3 damage. And I was able to enhance that. They weren't able to get the effect off on that one, which was really, really helpful. So we have, at the start of this round, we have me going again. I get the nice looking glass in my hand. I move over to the door. I move over to the front gate. I see that there's opportunity here. I'm trying to take a look at it. I see Momentous Shift. And I kind of see a whole bunch of things here as opportunities. But I decided to go with Momentous Shift to possibly deal some decent damage. I get the nice 5 value against their Once Upon a Time, which cannot be able to trigger to deal that 3 damage back, which was really helpful for me the last time, and it's really helpful again. So I'm able to deal a decent amount of damage over that to the Huntsman. The Huntsman moves forward and attacks Alice at the gate. I have to kind of figure out what I want to do here. I think I decided to go with Looking Glass, and they go with, basically Long Have Sought You, and basically attacks, dealing 1 damage over the 3 defense, which is not bad. I end up, deciding to recover 3 health. I have the ability to do so. I've taken some damage, but it's not like life-threatening at this point, but I think I should, increase that, health pool there. And I end up also getting to move to any space on the board. I just want to get as close to Little Red as possible. I see Jabberwock can potentially block her on the left-hand side. So I end up, placing myself right in that tri-zone space, trying to see how I can do anything on that back wall. Goes on to my turn. I have the capability to increase my size, do things of that nature. So I do see that I could use Eat Me. It's kind of going to defeat the purpose because I can't move, but I'm going to be able to change size and become big. So I become big and use Old Frabjous Day because I know at least I'll be able to go back to small afterwards. They use Stones in the Belly to remove my skirmish, which was kind of pretty detrimental, but I am able to get 3 damage onto them from the attack, and I change size to increase my defense value on their turn. That's a big thing that you want to do as Alice, is to make sure that you go big on offense but are small on defense. And now it goes on to their turn. They're trying to figure out what to do here with their attacks. I go in with my 3 value feint. They're able to get 1 over that, so I am able to block at least a good chunk of that attack. I felt pretty good about it. The problem is they went in for a second attack knowing I had no more cards in hand. And I literally ended up taking 4 damage to the face, which was very scary. That's very scary at this point, especially for Alice. Now we're going to interrupt this game with a halftime report. Looking at the stats here, it's pretty relatively close. Damage blocked and combat damage done, relatively close in the game. Even cards left in the deck. It seems like a very even match on this one, so let's see what happens. Going back into this, though, I have no cards in hand. I need to figure out how I'm going to get those things back and going. I end up, maneuvering. I move over to the back wall there. I put the Jabberwock in that tri-zone space. And then I try to figure out what am I going to do here. Jabberwock and move and kind of clump us together. I was literally trying to defend myself because I knew I was very low on health, and I thought the Jabberwock could be a nice meat shield. She ends up doing pretty much the same thing on the other side of the map. So I start to move over as I start filling up my hand, and I draw again. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to handle this. I do have defenses in my hand, so I can deal with some of the issues here. And I end up going with moving it into the garden. Now, the thing is that she just flies on the other side of the map and then deals a damage with Never Leave the Path, which, I kind of left myself open to. So she is able to deal some damage to me directly on top of, some of those big attacks. So we're getting pretty low in health here. The Jabberwock goes after her. I'm actually trying to find a way to get to the other side to maybe cut her off. She gets over to that space. She tries to boost her maneuver to get the Huntsman on the far side. And I think she's trying to pin me as well. I see the potential chance here to go up there and deal some damage. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Am I going to go after her with the Jabberwock, or if I'm going to go after her with Alice? And I'm kind of thinking about any other cards I can use to just get out of dodge or whatnot. I end up using the Jabberwock because I feel like they've just been a really useful companion to kind of help out with things, especially me having to stay small. So I go after her again. She has the stones in the belly. I should have been keeping track of what she had in her discard pile, but what ends up happening is that I am able to deal 1 damage over the boosted card that they're able to take. So I am able to get some damage over. They go after the Jabberwock. At this point, I have no Jabberwock defenses in hand. They hit me with a nice big 2. And due to the effect, they can actually put that card back into their hand, which is very helpful for them. So they're going to probably be able to get that, what big hands you have, be able to get that back into their hand. And then they go after me again with the Huntsman with his big 4 value attack to take out the Jabberwock entirely. This was not terribly bad for me. I was able to have him use another Long Have I Sought You to literally waste it on that, on that attack and take care of it. I got the Jaws That Bite, which is kind of useless at this point. But I do move forward. I do have some cards I can throw out to possibly just waste. And I think I go for this I'm late because at least I can get away from her if I feel like I need to. She steals my other Looking Glass, which hurt badly, taking that big boosted card, but as well as my chance to, heal again. And so I end up just flying away as far away as I can from her. She's going to have to boost a maneuver to get to me. And I just end up going all the way over on that side of the map. She continues to get away from me. She's going towards the back wall with the huntsman. I realize that I am losing cards and bleeding cards out of my deck. I need to do something about this. I'm big now. I'm very, more susceptible to being injured. So I am maneuvering. I'm trying to find a way to get closer to her, but as well as avoid any other nonsense from that huntsman, which I don't think there's much else the huntsman can do besides just heal Little Red. So that's what I'm kind of factoring in. Little Red moves forward with her into the woods to get another action. Comes in and attacks me. I decide to go with Mad as a Hatter to try at least block some damage. I'm able to block 3 damage. I take 1 over the what's that in my basket. She's got nothing. She has no more of those cards left in her deck, which is really helpful for me. So I end up just moving back a space to avoid her being able to get another attack on me, although I didn't realize she had no cards in hand. She ends up just maneuvering and moving up there. I, at this point in time, have to kind of get somewhat, desperate because I am getting low in my deck. So I rush over to attack her. I have, make some foe, so I can get a little bit of a boost to it. I discard Mad as a Hatter. Again, nice meaty 4 value attack. Boom. Getting her down in those hit points. Massive attack right there. She only has 1 card left in her hand. She maneuvers again, fills up her hand, and leaves that spot wide open for me to be able to maneuver in and attack her. I go in, and I kind of factor in what do I want to do. I have Snicker Snack. I have Other Side of the Mushroom. Other Side of the Mushroom could have given me the chance to escape, but I decide to go in with that Snicker Snack just in case if I need to, deal with anything else in her hand if she's not able to defend. So I kind of, factor in my choices. End up going with the Snicker Snack, and she does not defend. She takes the 3 damage, going down to -1, and there is a victory for Alice, the hero of Wonderland. Ha 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 ha.